First of all, I'd like to thank Mediapost for having me here as the agency guy, and also for being inspiring to me over the years. I was been in the business about 20 years, and it was Steve and Ken, who I met last night, and Joe Mandisi back in New York have been great to me over the years, and I've really enjoyed the content. So it's an honor to be up here in front of everybody. So, okay. I am an agency. I'm a creative media agency. Here are some of our clients, and I am from Cincinnati, Ohio, the home of the 0-9 Bengals right now, the worst team in the NFL. Very exciting, but Cincinnati is a growing consumer marketing hub. You might know us mostly for having P&G. My agency does no work for P&G, which I'm actually very proud of, but have P&G roots. I just recently purchased the agency from my mother, who started it 34 years ago. We have about 225 employees, 200 in Cincinnati and 25 in Chicago. But what I'm here to talk about is a problem that I have, and I am extremely jealous of direct-to-consumer brands. I've been in this room. I've already purchased some things that I've heard, skincare products for my wife. If I had a beard, I would be purchasing that. If I wore glasses, I would be doing that, and hopefully I'm going to get myself a gravity blanket soon from Mark, and I've already connected him with one of my clients. So I'm very eager to learn from direct-consumer brands, and I think that agencies can do the same. We have a little brand lab inside Empower. We have one brand, which I'll talk about real quickly, which is Intercoastal, and then we're developing 3 more brands ourselves, because I think we have a real opportunity to leverage the talent with inside the agency to do things. But I also believe that agencies actually have a lot to learn from direct-to-consumer brands. And said in another way, I think you guys are forcing us as agencies to rethink our business model and how we go to market. It's really 3 reasons. One is I believe direct-to-consumer brands have digital courage that sometimes agencies don't have. I believe they have a real opportunity to use first-party data in new and interesting ways, and as agencies, we don't necessarily get that data from our clients, and we're extremely jealous that you guys have all this information around your client or around your customers that we as agencies can't always leverage. And you guys understand how to work with influencers, and that's always a growing capability of agency that we don't always have. And so, as I think about it, this was a great quote here that I saw from a brand Away, which ironically was coming home from a trip with my wife a few weeks ago, and I had bought her a piece of Away luggage, a pink Away luggage, and actually went to the conveyor belt, the baggage claim, and pulled it off and took it home and actually realized it wasn't hers. It was someone else's, but I thought, who in the world in Cincinnati would have another pink bag of Away luggage, right? But they're here. The direct consumer brands are here. People are buying them, and I just think the opportunity is in marketing, right? I think direct-to-consumer brands really understand how to do marketing, understand how product and marketing actually fit together. And I'm always worried, because I am a CEO of an agency, and the thing that I'm sometimes always worried about is what is called disintermediation. So, as do agencies, how do we fit in the ecosystem, particularly for a lot of direct-to-consumer brands who are starting from scratch and learning marketing and doing, and are able to be agile and nimble. So how as an agency do we fit into that? And if you just look at some of the statistics from big companies, Association of National Advertisers have shown that actually more and more of these large companies are bringing services we do in-house. And why are they doing that? Because they have access to their customers' data. They want to be more nimble. They want to be more agile. They want to be able to bob and weave. They want to actually get creative and media working together again. And so this is something I have to constantly think about in how we build our agency. And we're building our agency around actually a thing, I think, and the gentleman from AdWallet said, I think he was talking about how he was the creative director and he couldn't get the media person, to give him the right statistics. And it was, we're actually trying to get these folks back together where it looks something like this. So it's ironically, my mom founded this agency when media actually was coming to the scene at P&G and cable television and everything. And now here we are 34 years later, and actually creative and media actually need to get back together because they're being done in silos and completely separate. And that's a big part of our agency. But I also believe, while getting creative and media back together, that we have a lot to learn from direct to consumer. And I think that's what you guys do really well, is you don't have these preconceived notions that a lot of traditional agencies have. There's this like assembly line of come up with the big creative idea, then give it to the media people, and then measure it. You just kind of do it all together, right? And as agencies, we have a lot to learn from that as we've become a little bit siloed, and there's all these different specialized agencies across the ecosystem. So our mandate, I have 4 people that are working on our own direct consumer brands within the agency, and this is my mandate. We can sometimes say, and some of my clients are watching this, but clients are sometimes full of no, some of our more clients. And what I want to say is, we bring a lot of ideas to clients. I want to do some direct consumer work where we can say yes and do some of the things that we've always wanted to do, and it will push us to bring more creativity to clients. And I have a 10-year vision, which I'm 2 years in, is that actually the amount of money we make as a company for our clients will equal the amount of money that we might make on some of our own brands, or said another way, the number of resources that we spend on our own clients will equal the number of resources we spend in our agency on our own brands. And I believe it's hard, because I'm 2 years in. We have one very fledgling brand. We have a couple others that we have some really good ideas on, but we have to keep experimenting and pushing ourselves. And I get the question every day from our president is like, should we be spending $1 there or $1 on a new tool or something that we can take to our clients? But we have to rethink this whole idea of integration from the ground up. And I'll skip through this, but what's interesting to me is that there's really 2 things. There's make stuff and sell stuff. But for the consumer, they don't see this, right? But this is the typical way in which agency and or brand operate, is in this kind of linear ecosystem. But really, when it works well, and I think what direct consumer brands do really well, is they think about this all together from the beginning. And the idea that we have is actually start to think about the audience first, and then, like I think Waleda said, they have 575 different audiences or something they're able to talk to. We have the ability to reach those audiences in unique ways. We know how to target those audiences, we know how to do them, but we don't know the making of the product part. But we feel like if we can find white space where these audiences are, and then in today's world, we feel like there's opportunity to make stuff, to curate products, and then sell them to these audiences, but do it in this more holistic way. And essentially, it'll allow us to develop deeper brand experience capabilities. It will gain us creative media comments, because if we do these things, we can get creative and media working back together. We can develop our own D2C casework so that we can actually push ourselves to be an agency partner for D2Cs. And then essentially what we want to do is have some in-house clients and leverage the talent we have inside our company that we take for clients to do for ourselves. So we have one brand. The opportunity was to find, we had a lot of people internally that were people that love to go to the lake. We're in Cincinnati, a lot of people that go to different lake houses in Tennessee and Michigan. And so we curated them, and we said we didn't feel like there was really a brand out there that spoke and talked to lake people. So we just developed a lifestyle brand that was dedicated to inland water and lake culture that allowed people experiences to share and engage with their love of this lifestyle around the lake. So we have a little brand called Intercoastal, Never Leave the Lake. We have products out there. This is one of my favorites. It's an iPhone case that are designed in different nautical themes with a little leash on it that enables you, when you're at the lake, you can hold on to it a little bit differently. So we're coming up with these ideas, and we're trying to market them using our agency. But if I had 3 takeaways before we get to the panel, the first one is that I really do believe that breakthrough ideas require more integration between the make stuff and the sell stuff. And that's what direct consumers do really well, and that's what we're trying to learn ourselves. Focusing on audiences first sometimes. That's what we do really well. We work for about 20 different clients, and we know all these different audiences. We know what works for these audiences, so why not leverage that for ourselves? And then I always think there's interesting ways to be looking at and leveraging talent at our company. And a quote that I kind of talk about all the time for agencies is, learning is easy, but sometimes forgetting is hard. And we, at agencies, especially a 34-year-old agency, there's a lot of things that we do that we've always done this particular way. and we have to always push people to forget those ways, is what I call is selectively forget the past so that we can create for the future. Thank you.
Jim, thanks. Stay right where you are. Let me ask Lisa and our panel to come forward because we've got a nice collection of a nice range of perspectives